Turkey Trials event is here. Major bugs and fixes. And survival of the fittest available to play possibly this week. You're right, kids, it's Raasclark and welcome to your regular ARK community news. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. So to kick off, of course, Turkey Trials is live here. Now everybody is running it. Though there was some confusion surrounding how to play this, and I get it's a first for ARK and ARK Survival Ascended, whereby this time you have to download a mod to activate to play said mod. And well, I've got a quick short I dropped in the early hours last night. Go check that out. I'll leave a link to that in the description. But it's great to see the introduction of structure skins, a really welcomed new refreshing thing for events, and look forward to seeing more of this. What more opportunities can we find in customizing the interior or exterior of your bases through skins through this new modded format, which wildcards seem to be concerned about if it would work or not work, and at least for single player worked absolutely fine. And hope you're all enjoying this smaller scale event with a look forward to what we get for the Winter Wonderland event in roughly 2 weeks. With some confusion on how to enable this event for unofficial servers, the devs explained on the crunch that all you had to do was write in this -mods equals 927083 to your server command line to launch with this mod. With yes, rates for official servers. I heard there was some massive backlash regarding rates for the servers, but you got them, so I don't understand why people had started to lash out about this. Maybe, I think, said forgot to put this on initially in the crunch, and well, whatever the case, you've got your rates until Monday the 12th. With a few new skins like we just touched on, 2 new emotes, touchdown friends gesture, and a brand new super turkey chibi. Noticed a lot of you asking in this event being delivered through a modded format, do you lose everything after the event's gone or you uninstall the mod? Well, I'm glad to say no, I tested this, don't worry, I uninstalled the mod after using a bunch of skins and they still remained to be within the vanilla game, so you haven't got any concerns about that. You can uninstall the mod whenever you please and you will still have these skins and chibis. And one cool thing about the structure skins, you can apply them to every single structure of that type. You only have to craft those skins once, and again, look forward to seeing what new structure skins we get in the future. We got a new modded spotlight looking at the brand new mods that have released to console and PC, including architect structures from Gimmicad, additional rustic building from Klinger, Cliffon's backpacks from Cliffon, RR Star Seahorse from Nania, RR Star Farm Animals from Nania, RR Medieval Roleplay Deco from Nania, Prehistoric Beasts from Queen Krista, Tameable Bosses from Ryan Lucas 007, and Axeman Chibi from Dev Alpha. Great to see even more mods coming, and I'm sure as the weeks go on, we're going to find even more bigger developed mods as we head into 2024, including the development of mod maps. We got to look at 10 of them this week, though quite early in their development phases, of course, makes sense. You know, ASA is a still fairly new thing, and look forward to seeing more of these in the future. Though I know a lot of you on console can't play most of these mod maps at the moment. It was mentioned by Nakatus, who develops Svartalfheim, that he's having some issues getting the cooks to move over to console, the console versions of the mod support to download these mods. And it was explained by mod program technical director Zen Rowe that it's currently an unpredictable cook failure issue that they're having with this, and they're trying to get it fixed as soon as possible. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that is related to Nakatus' issue, and certainly many issues why you probably haven't seen too many maps on the modded store for console, but hopefully that'll get fixed soon. We found an overwhelming amount of bugs and patches drop yesterday, which was the result of a public test realm thing that happened inside the ARK official Discord, which I'll explain in just a moment. Tested by volunteers, a massive win by Wildcard. And anyway, what we got was a lot. I won't go through every single one, but certainly highlighted patch notes were unconscious players visually sinking through ceilings and floors, finally able to access those bodies so you can get your loot back. Preventing boss teleporting aquatic only dinos with the tech transmitter, so your sea creatures shouldn't die now when you use a transmitter, and hopefully that's going to be the same for you when you use a teleporter, something I found myself. fixed some aspects of the tech chest not working correctly on servers under stress. Kind of frustrating to not be able to boost mid-air. Now that seems to be working all fine now. Crop plots are now visually seen in their plots. They seem to go invisible previously in single player after relogging. Now that's been resolved. Seagulls can now hunt and retrieve fish properly. I was having some issues myself where they kind of was just floating these fish and they weren't being given the gold buff that you use to help you tame Hesperornis. Industrial Grinder sorted its engrams like they were items, has now been resolved, and remote wireless crafting seems to be a thing now, though I tried to use this and it didn't seem to recognize at least the crystal in there that I wanted to craft wirelessly in a different crafting item, nor could I remote wirelessly grind resources, so not too sure what happened there. Maybe it's a bug for at least single player. Fixed short player characters floating when driving rafts. We noticed that very early on with our very small character, and it seems to be better on creatures, though just a little bit of float. Allowed placement of walls on the sides of foundations and the placement of pillars on fence supports. The latter certainly a great thing that I don't know, was it intended, was it meant to be a thing you weren't able to do in the first place? Either way, a great addition for ARK builders out there. Some harvesting issues with smaller creatures that should now be resolved. Player stamina sometimes draining when riding a dino underwater, a thing we had throughout the entirety of ARK Survival Evolved, which I just took for granted as a thing that was in the game, but always bugged me. I raised it in a stream previously, I think a few days ago this week, so I guess the devs were watching that stream, they must have been. But a great thing to see, you no longer now lose stamina whilst riding sea creatures under sea. Though sadly, and a few people mentioned this to me, that it was originally intended teleporting large dinos with small tech teleporters, you're now unable to do that, so a lot of people that probably were using this for caves are going to be very frustrated somehow trying to fit large TPs now in these caves, including myself. It was great for loot running, but there we go, we've got to move on. Single player default fuel consumption rates have been changed, so make sure you're checking your jennies and what the new timers are on them, because at least for me, I've been messing about with different rates after selecting, I think it was medium originally. Carcass finally dropped gigahertz, a certainly welcomed addition, and the devs have apparently disabled the use of various console commands used to gain visual advantages, something that we saw a lot of for PvP official, though I tried to do these things in single player and seemed to still work for me. Was able to turn off grass, water and fog and clouds. Don't know whether that's a thing you can do in official. Maybe it's only been disabled for official and you're still allowed to do this for single player. Perhaps it goes even further than that, that official players were literally turning off everything to create a ridiculous advantage. But the big one, Rhinio Nerfed, has had some serious nerfs to some dismay, especially within the PvE community, but I'm not surprised to see it for PvP especially. A Rhinio Nerfed charging at full speed, carrying a stego or whatever tank in its clutches as it sprints, flies as quick as it can towards a base, was certainly broken. It had to be patched. I'm not surprised to see it patched, and as a result, movement speed has been reduced by 50% when carrying anything, as well as its base health reduced and its base weight reduced and its armor weakened from incoming damage and weakened even more by tech damage, with a bunch of issues with it picking up and placing objects all patched as well. The devs went on to say they are going to continue monitoring this, possibly being open to nudge it back up in speed if they see the need, mentioning also that they're well aware of the render distance issues that everyone's experiencing on console and will be improving that in the near future. With one last thing mentioned by Dolly in response to PvE servers already being dino capped, that they're rushing Cryos out as much as quickly as possible, and well, you could be seeing Cryos quicker than you think. A survival of the fittest public test realm is happening at some point this week, as well as other things for you to test, including Cryos, which means we possibly could be seeing these by maybe next weekend. If you're not aware, it's something that Wildcard already trialed this week. Massive win, where all the patches that we've just seen, they ran a test branch where simply you right click your game in Steam, go to properties And in betas, you click on in beta participation, public test realm, try out the new stuff. In doing that, we'll re-download ARK into a new format, this new test version of ARK, for you to test all of these new patches before they go to the wider public. And this week seems to introduce survival of the fittest in some capacity. We're finally going to be able to check this out within this public test realm version. I can't wait to get my hands on it, and I'm sure I'll be streaming it as soon as I possibly can. When we saw it during the Extra Life showcase, it looked good. It looked pretty similar to the survival of the fittest we know, though. I'm really hoping all of the I settings are unable to be performed during this, as well as some progression system. I think we really do think we need to see some form of unlockable things, skins that we get when we win games. Hopefully we'll see what this is all about, as well as Cryos, some point this week. The initial public test realm was posted within the ARK official Discord with a new channel to go to learn about all the patch notes, which has now been locked for that round of patches. So I assume it's going to be unlocked for this new public test realm, or maybe they've just locked me out for some reason. Hopefully not. With finally a weird but really good ARK Survival Ascended trailer that dropped, well, just over 24 hours ago, and it was through Snail Games, not through Wildcard at all. In fact, Wildcard haven't acknowledged this trailer at all, not in their social channels, not on their Discord, nowhere, which makes me wonder what has happened here. Where's the breakdown? It's a great trailer nonetheless. It seems that Snail Games subcontracted a company to make this for them and appeared to be in preparation for the Game Awards event that happened last night. We saw a snippet of this trailer during that event. Maybe it was always meant to be for this. Maybe this was the original release schedule for ARK Survival Ascended. Maybe Snail Games just went and did this without talking to Wildcard, because the fact that Wildcard haven't publicized this or shared this themselves to anybody does make me wonder what's going on. There's a definite breakdown in communication between the two teams there. Either way, I quite liked it. It was a nice trailer. I shared it on this channel, and I hope you enjoyed it too. With, of course, one last thing I feel that's a serious issue that needs to be resolved is single player saves. I see a lot of you having issues with your saves getting lost, corrupted, more so on console. The devs haven't responded to this yet, but fingers crossed they will soon. Now this first initial big wave of patches have dropped. Let's keep our eyes on this. I hope you enjoyed this one. A bit late to the game once again, but hey ho, we're here. Until the next one, my name is Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, peace out.